Well, hello there. And the question, oh, it's day 7 of our 30-day challenge on double clicking into marketing, getting a better understanding of marketing, studying marketing, as well as establishing a new habit. So today we are on pages 74 through 84 of Duct Tape Marketing by John, you know his last name. And the thing that he is talking about today is case studies. And so the overarching thought is, what do you believe about content and creating content? So he talks a lot about case studies, and I'm not going to go a lot into that, but this is the statement that I made to like sum up the whole thing on case studies. Build your case of the problem, then save the day with your solution. That's pretty much what case studies are. You're building your case of the problem, and then you're saving the day with how your company can solve the problem. And one of the cool things that he says also is that as small businesses, we have the ability to tell our story, and we need to utilize that. So, any strength that we have, being small, we need to take full advantage of the fact that we're small and we're able to do a better job with customer service and telling the story of our business. Because guess what? People love stories, and people are getting to the point where they want to support a cause and they want to support small businesses, because a lot of people are at the point where they're like, oh, I don't want to give more money to this big old company. And they want to support us smaller companies for now because we are on our way up. So focus on how you do what you do and why should somebody come to you? And I know we've heard it before. What's your value proposition? What is it that you do better than anybody else? And the goal with social media is to communicate that. So the question is, what do you believe about content? Do you believe that content is king? And I really believe the goal of the book too is to help you to change your mindset about content and understand that we're in a day and age where people want to know what you do ahead of time and want to know that you're really good at it, and they want to see it. And you're just like, you want to see the build. They want to see the behind the scenes. They want to see you building it, and they want to come along for the ride. I was on a call where this guy was talking about a laundromat. I think it's in New York, and they were building it up, and they were talking about how they were pulling in, coffee shop, and they were pulling in all of these things that younger people would want at a laundromat, and they just like showed it in front of everybody so that when it came time for the grand opening, everybody wanted to go. Why? Because they were seeing it being built. And I thought that's probably the best argument that I've heard for actually showing people the build and the as you go, because that really establishes your credibility, and it really builds trust with your audience when they see you do the thing that you say that you can do. They want the proof ahead of time that you can do it. Back in the day, you just bought something and you just prayed that it would do what it would do what it do. But this day and age, people want to see that ahead of time and know that someone else has been successful with your product. And so we're just living in a different day. And so with the case study, it should be the situation, the problem, your solution, and the result. Like how are we able to give people a result? And of course, video testimonials. And I know with video testimonies, you're like, but you may not get the result that someone else got, but they still want to hear that somebody else was able to get the result. And so one of the other things that I marked is the ability to connect by way of personal stories is one of the greatest advantages that small businesses possess over big businesses. We have to take full advantage as to the we have to take full advantage of the advantage. There was a better way to say that, but it's late. Sorry about that. Um, Also, what I wanted to point out too is that as far as create content is so important that he's saying hire a journalist to create your content. Has anybody ever thought of that? Drop a comment if you're like, yes, I've hired a journalist in order to create my content. Like, we're at a point where content is that important that we need to hire a journalist that has greater training, more education on being able to write in such a way to bring in people. And I mean, obviously, I'm not a journalist, but there's some tricks to the trade that they have. And they're saying, hire a journalist, that should be someone who's on your team. I know, wow, that's crazy. Marketing content must be viewed and communicated these days. Like, you have to be able to communicate in writing, in video, in all these different methods as to what you really are capable of doing. And then this other thing is I put rethink how you think about content. So if you're like, oh man, it shouldn't take all of that, we need to rethink that. We really need to rethink and transform our mindset about the importance of content. Because just think about yourself personally. When you buy something, what do? I think, and I use this example all the time. If I'm looking for someone who braids hair, if you've given me a referral that says, oh, so and so braids hair, what's the first thing you're going to do? You're going to go to their social media and look for the proof that they really can braid hair. So if I go to your social media page, and it can be personal, it doesn't have to be a business page. If I go to the person's page and I'm scrolling and I don't see anybody, I don't see any braids, nobody took a selfie and said, oh, so-and-so's braids are fire. Like, nobody did that. Are you going to have that person braid your hair? Or are you going to go to somebody else that you see the social proof? I'm telling you, we are in a different day and age, and we have to start thinking differently about how we view content, knowing where to find what is being said about a topic, industry, or challenge, and just, oh my goodness, sharing that in information in a way that other people can understand. Like, we've got to be so clear as to what we do, and we have to share and figure out a way to write that out and show our value to our customers. If not, good luck. And I know there's people out there is like, you know what, I don't want to do it. Well, drop in the comment what's the other way. So when we figure out how our customer buys, if your customer buys based off of social media, what are you going to do in order to make sure that you stay relevant? But if you like, email marketing and your customer buys via email, that's great. But if you do the research and find out that your customers want to see the social proof, then you're going to have to transform your thinking, or else you're going to be out of business, right? Oh my goodness. So the challenge for today is to rethink social media and to rethink what you're putting out there. Is your content valuable? Is your content taking your customers someplace? Is there a journey? Are you showing them what your North Star offer is? Are you taking them someplace, or are you just putting out content when you feel like it? There should be specific content in a specific place that you're trying to take your customers. And once you do that, you're going to be thankful. I just believe that you're going to be thankful. And I'm going to be thankful that our businesses are where they need to be. And we're communicating such value to our customers that then it becomes a no-brainer for them working with us. And that's what we really want. We want to attract all this work we're putting into social media. We want to attract the right people who want to buy with us. And we want them to get whatever the thing is, whatever the goal is. If I'm, in real estate and I want to help people with generational wealth, to see them, with $1 million of assets, like, that's the goal. So let's make sure we keep the goal in mind and that we keep our customer as our prime target, and helping them to get to the goal is our number one priority. So that's it for today. Thank you so much. And I pray that you are taking this 30-day challenge seriously, and there are going to be some habits that have formed as a result of us staying together for these 30 days. So until next time, thank you for tuning in for